It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome, everybody, to Inside the Force. I am one of your hosts, David Cottingham, with Casey Cooley.
Greetings, everybody.
Yes. Thanks for joining us on the second episode here.
Thanks for coming back.
Yes, we are excited. Hopefully you listened to last week's episode, our debut episode, Queen of the Core.
Queen of the Core.
Where we talked about Coruscant.
New band name.
I know. This week, if you can tell by the title, we are talking about how the origin of the Rule of Two came about, which is Darth Bane is who we're going to kind of highlight. But first, before we get into that, we want to mention how you can stay connected with us. We are on Twitter at Inside the Force. We are going to be really highlighting that as far as our way of connecting to us. Tweet us your comments, tweet us your questions. If you have a certain topic you want us to highlight, we'll do that, because we're going to just, every week we're going to dive into something beyond the movies kind of things. Sometimes there'll be people from the movies in this, sometimes, but more than likely we want to get into more expanded stuff. We are part of the 21 Network, which this is our second full week. Yeah. Last week was our first full week. Part of the network. You can check that out, 21network.com. All the podcasts are on there. You get one every day of the week, except the weekend, of course.
Yeah.
Every week, work day. Monday, you get some KooCast. Tuesday is us, Inside the Force. Wednesday, Popular Fanatics, which is exploring pop culture phenomenons. Thursday, you got 21 podcasts with some filmmakers from 21 Productions. And then you got Friday, In the Comics. If you're a comic junkie, got to listen to that, where you tell you what books are coming out, give you our reviews, and preview some stuff that's coming out the following week. So check us out, man. Thanks for listening. So one more thing before we get into we're gonna do a little giveaway, Case.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fun.
We're gonna reward our listeners, because I guess you could kind of say we want to bribe our listeners. But no, I was actually I have your cousin, my daughter.
Yes.
Casey's my nephew.
I have one. Yes, that's true. That's impossible.
That's impossible. So my little daughter, Sammy, we took her to Toys R Us the other day, and sometimes every once in a while I'll go check out the Star Wars figures, the Star Wars toys, because I want to buy that. They've got that, your brother Corey, who dressed up as Darth Maul. Yeah. He's got the real life double lightsaber. Yeah. Well, they got the small one, the toy. So I'm eventually going to get that.
That's pretty cool.
It's got double. It's just like those the ones behind us right there.
Nice.
But anyway, I was in there looking at figures, and since Christmas, it's been a little light. All you see is maybe a battle droid or something like that. But they just put out some new ones. I just happened to be there, and I found they put up. Since we're talking about the Sith, they put up some Sith up there. I saw Darth Vader, I saw Darth Sidious, and I saw Darth Maul. So I went ahead and just picked those up, because since we got the Rule of Two going on, we are going to give away Darth Sidious and Darth Maul. I'm going to say Vader for something else. But
that Master Apprentice is very symbolic.
That's right.
To resurgence of the Sith.
So just so people know, these aren't actually first time. Yeah. So want to make sure everybody knows, if you want Sidious is VC79 and Maul is VC86. So a lot of you collectors out there probably would know that. If not, you can look that up. What that means, it's just their code, basically their vintage code. So, but these are the vintage packagings. we'll tweet that. We'll tweet that picture and tell you what you're getting. But anyway, how do you get those? How do you get those,
I
Case?
don't know. Do we just call us up? Ask for them? I don't know.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're going to send that. You know who we're going to send that to, Case?
Who? What's going on? What's happening?
We are going to send both of these, both together, because you get two,
Yeah.
full of two.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Yeah. Awesome.
We are currently, you can listen to us at InsideTheForce.com. Right there, you can check out our RSS feed, or you can go to iTunes and subscribe, which is what we suggest, because when you go to iTunes, there's a little rating there, right?
Yeah.
The first person, because right now we don't have anybody, first person that writes us a 5-star review, we're going to send that to.
There you go.
We're going to send these figures to you.
Just a click of a button.
That's it. All you got to do. All you really got to do is hit 5 stars and say, I like this podcast. And that's it. You get 2 figures. So that's a little contest we're going to do. Like I said, Darth Maul, Darth Sidious. We'll tweet the pictures and show you. And, the beauty of these is they're unpunched, too. So get a little case for them.
No one has
nice.
punched
You don't even
these
have
toys.
to open. You don't have to open them. But if you want to pull them out and play with them, that's cool, too. I got my Darth Maul sitting up there on the shelf there. So anyway, that's what's going on with us right now as far as giveaway, our network. So let's get into what we're all about on this show, which is bringing you highlighting something, profiling something, someone, a place, an organization, a vehicle, whatever. It could be anything. We're doing Darth Maul right now. Because
Darth Bane.
Darth Bane.
Bane.
I'm confused. I'm looking at Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So we're doing Darth Bane, which a lot of people might not know who Darth Bane is.
Right.
I mean, if you're a huge diehard Star Wars fan, I was just double checking. We don't have any reviews, so that's
okay.
So the first review, like I said, on iTunes, get those figures. But Darth Bane is a very, very important, and as far as I remember, he is a canon figure, right?
He is, yeah.
So
Canon as in George's canon.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, as far as we've read, it came from George's mind, right?
He made it up. Yeah. And the Rule of 2, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to highlight him, and we'll just dive right in. Darth Bane was born under the name Dessel, and he was a...
human.
He is a human born at the Outer Rim. He was born on the Outer Rim planet Apatros. Is that right? How you say it?
Probably, Apatros, yeah.
We're going to get the pronunciations of all these things wrong, so Apatros.
It's whatever.
Yeah, and he was born in 1026 BBY. Explain the BBY case, because I think we should have done that last week. What is that referring to?
I was trying to quickly think of a joke, but I can't do it. So... BBY stands for
Bring your own. Bring your own lightsaber? No.
Best boy. I don't know. Anyways, BBY stands for before
Best boy you.
Best boy you. Anyways, stands for before the Battle of Yavin, and the Battle of Yavin is the battle that takes place in Episode 4.
Correct.
New Hope, and so basically, there's a BC AD thing. What we have. Star Wars timeline base every date around that Battle of Yavin. I mean, they don't say that, I don't think, and I don't think they even say that in Star Wars. I can't think of, but just for us to get our bearings, BBY is before the Battle of Yavin, and then 0 BBY is the Battle of Yavin.
Correct. Well, it's Episode 4.
Yeah,
correct,
Episode 4. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So therefore, everything after, like Episode 5, is 3 ABY.
That's right.
After the Battle of Yavin. So what we're talking about, Darth Bane, is 1,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. So there you go.
So when is Episode 7 rumored to happen?
30 years after. So that'll be 30 BB. No, that'd be at 30 after 6. So 6 was 4 years after. So this will be 34 ABY.
There you go. See, that's how you learn. That's how you learn when stuff happens in the Star Wars universe. So the Clone Wars happened, basically 22 to 19 BBY, stuff like that. So
Luke would be He was 19 years old, episode 4, so
He'd be 53.
maybe 4 years out, so 23 plus 30, 53. Wait, yeah, 53.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 53, 54. Yeah.
He's not that old. He's
No.
like,
Isn't he about that right? In Mark Hamill, or is he 60?
I
Is
say
he close to
I say
60?
he's close to 60.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so we're back to Darth Bane. We are, so he's born in 1026 BBY, meaning this is 1,000 years before episode 4 comes out. Episode 4 happens. And he is, right away, he kind of has a rough childhood. When he's about 23, he is threatened to get imprisoned and get arrested. But a friend of his that helps him escape off-world, and he actually ends up joining the Sith Brotherhood of Darkness at the time. So at this time, 1,000 years, we're coming to the end of what's been known as the new Sith War, right?
Right.
Which happened, I think, what was it? Started around 2000 BBY, right?
The new Sith War.
The new Sith War.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah. 2000.
2000. So this is kind of the tail end of it, and what that war is there's not, because Bane came up with the rule of 2. There's not just 2 Sith, right? There's thousands of Siths, just like there's thousands of Jedis, and there's just been battling. I mean, they've been battling for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But this new Sith War happened around 2000 BBY, and it's been going on since Bane was born. So he's kind of just thrown into the middle of it, while it's still not in the middle of it, towards the tail end. And the Sith Brotherhood of Darkness, which is run by this guy, Khan, which not confused with the Star.
Yeah, not Khan. Yeah.
Not Star Trek Khan.
Not even spelled the same.
It's K. Is it spelled the same?
No, it's not spelled the
Okay,
same.
so this is Kaan. So I think that's Khan.
Yeah. Maybe it's just
Which one's
K-on,
how's it
maybe.
Star Trek?
It's KHAN?
Yeah, you're right. KHAN.
I don't know if it's H is before the A or
No,
after
it's
the A.
KHAN. Yeah, you're
Who
right.
cares anyways, right?
Correct. We're not talking about that.
Okay.
So we're talking about Archon. I'm just gonna say Can then.
Can.
Should I say Can just so we don't get confused here? But why would you get confused?
Yeah. Who cares?
Anyway, Khan is the leader of the Sith Brotherhood of Darkness on the planet Korriban. So he goes to Korriban and studies and trains in the Sith Academy. And as he's training, I mean, he's becoming a great, fighter and a skilled, force sensitive, with very strong on the dark side. He is, and then so anyway, he starts to realize that he's not liking how he feels like the Sith Order at this time is very weak and vulnerable, and not the overpowering Sith that he had always heard about and read about. So he decides to actually leave the Order. He does it in kind of bad fashion. He ends up killing one of their. I think I read he ends up killing one of their great skilled trainers of the lightsabers, and he studies under. I wrote this down. So he's on Korriban. He studies under Lord Cordus and Lord Kasim. Those are the guys that actually trained him. They were kind of his masters when he first arrived on Korriban. So anyway, when he commits this murder because he realizes that they're just weak, Cordus wants him to turn himself in, obviously, and be judged. But he decides to leave the Order and says, I'm out of here. Basically, takes a ship and leaves and heads for this city in the unknown region, which is good because last week, if you listened last week, we kind of talked about how there's different regions of the galaxy, the core worlds, the deep core, the outer rim. Then there's an unknown region, and there's a planet out there called Lehon, 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 and he had read that he knew that there's an old Sith temple there. So he goes out to Leon, and finds an old temple there that he goes through. Let me get there. So he gets there and he searches what's called the Temple of the Ancients. And on there, while he's at the Temple of the Ancients, he comes across a holocron. And the holocron was created by Sith Lord Darth Revan.
Right.
And if you guys out there listening to us are big gamers and have played the Knights of the Old Republic, right? Mm-hmm. That's where Darth Revan is really highlighted. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he activates the holocron there and learns from there everything about the Sith. Yeah. Now, you've got some big connections with Revan and Bane after this. What's that?
Well, okay, any fans of the Clone Wars out there, in Season 3, there was a pretty popular story arc called, it was the Ghost, well, I don't know, the Mortis story arc, whatever, but there was one episode called The Ghosts of Mortis. And, in this series, there's like the embodiment of the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force, whatever. And the character who's the embodiment of the dark side of the Force was supposed to have be influenced by certain Sith Lords of the past, and there were going to be particularly two Sith Lords that were going to show up in this episode that were going to communicate with this character, and the two Sith Lords were going to be Darth Bane and Darth Revan. Now, this was George Lucas's idea to include Darth Bane and Darth Revan in this episode, and they went as far they actually animated this scene where these two characters were going to come, I guess, as just appear in this episode and talk to this character. And they shot the scene and they had animated it, done all this stuff, and so they designed it and everything. But I think it might be pretty close to whatever they were going to be done with the episode. George Lucas decided to cut the scene from the episode. And Dave Filoni, the creative director of the whole show, Clone Wars, he also felt like the scene didn't fit for some reason in the episode. So he thought that the decision to cut the scene was the right decision, which I'm still not sold on, because there's a video of Dave Filoni talking about this, and he says the reason behind it was he thought that Darth Bane and Darth Revan showing up in this episode the way that they did would have kind of messed up the what people knew about the Force. He said, like, if they detached themselves from the Force, he said, I think it's his words, like they detached themselves from the Force to appear. I'm not sure. I wasn't following what his reasoning behind it.
Well,
but
I think what he's talking about was that he didn't want the Sith. They didn't want the Sith to seem powerful after death.
Yeah,
like Yoda and Obi-Wan and these guys when they became. I think that's what I got out of it a little bit.
Which I can buy, but knowing what I know from the expanded universe, that happens a lot.
Right.
Like, there's one book in the...
But to George, it hasn't happened.
Yeah, no. In the EU, there's like one temple on Yavin. There's a Sith temple where an old Sith Lord, Exar Kun, still resides there. There's the dark side. Even it's like the cave in Dagobah. Like, there's still dark side presence there. So
yeah, totally.
So that's fine. Whatever. I don't know how. So
it would have been cool.
Would have been cool, but it brings up a crazy question, because Darth Bane already was canon in Star Wars lore. He already was a George Lucas approved character. Darth Revan, though, was created by the expanded universe people, and so this would have meant for the games. Oh, I don't know if it was. I think it might have been before the games. I don't know. I can't remember. It might have been in a comic book or something. I don't know. But this would have meant that George Lucas was going to include Darth Revan as his canon.
Right.
He was going to make Darth Revan his canon. Now, since they already shot the scene, it was like, okay, they were going pretty far with it. But now that they've cut the scene, does that mean that he's not canon still? Or is he still canon, just not yet shown up? That's a weird question.
Yeah.
I want to say he's not canon.
I think until he shows up maybe in a movie.
Yeah.
Or a television show that Disney does, I think we have to assume that he's technically not canon, that he's still EU.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Because he's an awesome character. But that's just some crazy little tidbit that a lot of people don't know about.
Right. That's awesome. So he studies, and Revan in the EU was like one of the most powerful Jedis or most powerful Siths.
Yeah.
So he was around the 4000 BBY, right?
Yeah.
During the
he's affiliated with the Great War.
during the Great
War,
Wars. And if you have seen any of the trailers or movies, semi movies that are on YouTube about the game, you know, those 3D animation stuff.
Yeah.
That oh man, I mean, it is badass,
Yeah.
and they are fighting all these Jedis, and you know, I think at some point they win, they take over Coruscant. I think at some point in one of the battles.
I think that's what that is.
So he and being Darth, he's known as being the first Darth since the ancient Siths to actually take that name. So that's what kind of really, and we'll get in more into the whole history of Revan at some point in another episode, but that's one of the things Bane had a problem with, was that none of the Siths at this time were taking the name Darth. And he was questioning that. He was like, you know, Darth is supposed to symbolize the power, and none of these guys have it. So he took the name Darth first before anything. He's like, I am Darth Bane, and I am going to. So after he studied for weeks, he studied Revan's holocron. He decides, I'm going back to Ruusan. So Ruusan was actually where they were. He studied on Korriban. So he goes to Ruusan and says, I am going to wipe out. I'm not going to just take over. I'm going to wipe all these guys out.
Well, one thing about Darth Revan too is although the Rule of Two wasn't an official thing back in Darth Revan was still kind of like the predecessor of the Rule of Two, because it was him and his apprentice Darth Malak. There were tons of Sith and Dark Jedi around, but it was Revan and Malak were the two kind of the main guys, the two Sith of that time, that's one thing that Bane picked up from, as we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it's like them two were the leaders almost.
Yeah.
A Sith and an apprentice. So anyway, Khan back on, he actually gets wind of Bane studying and all this stuff and hearing that he possibly might over. So he actually sends a Twi'lek master to go kill Bane on Lehan. Obviously, it doesn't work out. Bane kills him. Bane, this is curious. Bane then dispatches a messenger drone to Ruusan, informing Khan of this Twi'lek, which it's actually Qasim. It's actually one of his first masters. Qasim's death, and handing the Sith Lord instructions to perform the Sith ritual to make a thought bomb. One of the many secrets he had learned from Revan's holocron. Now, I don't know how much this exists in the real world, but a thought bomb, this is what I just looked this up. This is what a thought bomb is. The thought bomb was a result of an ancient ritual that, through the focused willpower of many unified Sith Lords, unleashes the full force of the dark side. When detonated, a thought bomb decimates the entirety of every force-sensitive being caught within the blast rays, and absorbed their fragmented souls into a swirling vortex of perpetual torment that resulted in an orb of silver iridescence.
Dang.
I mean, what the? So, see, it says, while the ability to wield such destructive power originated from the ancient Sith, its existence was discovered during the Jedi Civil War by Darth Revan.
There you
go. Who recorded the secrets of his creation within the Sith holocron. So that's how Bane came across of it. So he passes the instructions on to Lord Khan, leader of the Brotherhood. In a desperate attempt to end the war in which they were engaged with the Jedi, the Dark Lord of Khan's Brotherhood created and detonated a thought bomb that annihilated nearly all the force-sensitive life on the planet Ruusan. So that's basically how the Sith got wiped out. Bane wasn't there, obviously, so he wasn't caught so he was left alone. The Jedi thought that that's how the war ended, what was called the New Sith War. So to them, bam, it's over, but Bane is alive. He is alone. Yeah. He's the only Sith, so he adopts the rule of two.
Right.
So he, obviously in the rule of two, you need an apprentice. So he finds an apprentice who happens to be
Xana,
actually a young girl that basically tells him that she's an assassin.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, you can be my apprentice.
Yeah.
So he raises her, trains her. Now here's the thing: is that this happens. I want to make sure I get the year right. So 10 years after the destruction of the Brotherhood. So this is 90 BBY basically. And after he's been training Xana, the Jedi actually hear about him because he gets. Let me make sure I get this right. So he's he's on. So he's on Tython, and you know what? I keep reading Tython, the planet Tython.
Yeah. Tython's in that comic book.
I was about to say the Dawn of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one
where
of the original worlds.
Yeah, where it all started, pretty much.
Where it all started. Yeah. So he's there, and the Jedi Order hear about his existence there, so they send a bunch of Jedi to kill Bane. So Bane, they end up killing all the Jedi, but Bane gets seriously injured. Xana takes him to the planet Ambria, which a healer named Caleb is there. Now Bane had met Caleb earlier, in a previous part of his life. So Xana knows about him, takes him there, heals him. But Caleb informs the Jedi Council that he's there, kind of betrays him. The Jedi come, but Xana uses her powers and drives Caleb's assistant, Daravit, kind of insane. So he's like acting all crazy.
Yeah.
Xana takes Bane and hides. So when the Jedi show up, they kill Deverett, thinking that he is the Sith.
Right.
Again, thinking now that that finally
now it's done.
All the Sith are dead.
Yeah.
So when Qui-Gon, 32 BBY in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, comes to the Jedi Council and says, "I think we were attacked by a Sith Lord," and I think Ki-Adi Mundi. I think he's the one that says, "That's impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennia."
Yeah.
That's what they're referring to. This is the last time that they thought that they encountered a Sith. But lo and behold, Xana and Darth Bane survive. They go on to just hide in darkness. Eventually, Xana, in a real... so basically... Okay, so real quick, I want to get to how he dies.
Yeah.
Decade after this, so it's about 80 BBY. He begins to... It's funny because Darth Sidious was doing this, I think, in the expanding universe. But Darth Bane starts researching secrets on how to prolong his life by transforming his essence to another body, which is basically... I think there's an EU story about Sidious having all these clones.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's how he survives.
Yeah.
Beyond
Something
episode
like that,
6. His essence travels to his clone facility because that's what Dark Empire is about, right? Is that right?
Yeah, his clones, yeah.
So while he's trying to do that, and it says here he wanted to he claimed the holocron of the ancient Darth Adedu.
Adedu,
who is
the first Darth guy? Yeah.
Yes. The very, very first.
First one to use the name Darth.
I think he's the original
Sith Lord.
I think he's basically the original. He's an ancient Sith. They don't even say what year he was born. He was born thousands of years and died thousands of years before all this even happened. So anyway, Bane was ambushed by the assassins hired by Caleb's daughter. Caleb being killed by him and Xana. So Bane was caught and imprisoned for a while. So Xana thought that since he's away, I'm going to become the new Dark
Yeah.
Lord of the Sith, right? Well, Bane gets out, escapes, comes back, fights Xana, ends up being a draw. But then Bane thinks, well, Xana's not powerful than me.
Yeah.
Maybe she's even too weak. I'm going to go get another apprentice. So this is where you were talking about how he had 2 apprentices, basically. So he goes and finds
It's like Cognos or something.
Cognos. Yeah, you're right. He ends up taking another Sith, Darth Cognos, and then Xana eventually catches up to them, has another duel with Bane, and Xana kills him. So, and that's how it goes for nearly 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Master and apprentice, master and apprentice. Apprentice gets powerful enough, overthrows the master.
It's crazy because that's what's expected. Like Bane's whole thing, like he told Xana, when you're powerful enough, you have to overthrow me and continue on. And it's crazy because it's like that. He knows and he's okay with that, and he's basically training an apprentice to kill him.
Right.
You know,
and we see that obviously in the movies as well.
Yeah.
Because so if we fast forward 1,000 years, Bane's theory holds true until there's Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious, right? Sidious tells Anakin, basically not so many words, that he killed him.
Yeah.
Once he became more powerful, and then he took on Darth Maul, and then obviously Maul got killed, took on Darth Tyrannus, right? Dooku, and then eventually Darth Vader. Now we know too, Vader. Okay, not in the movies, but if you count Force Unleashed, he's trying to take an apprentice to overthrow, but in the end, you find out that was a completely different.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into. That's a good one we gotta do. Star Killer. That's a good profile.
Cool.
But anyway, but you see it in the movies where he's telling his son, right? We'll rule the galaxy as father and son. I mean, he's taking Luke. He wants to take Luke as his apprentice.
Yeah.
Kill the Emperor, and then they're that's all the Sith were doing, and that's why Bane in the beginning even did the rule of 2, because that's all the Sith were they were, because not only were they fighting the Jedi, but they were fighting each other.
Yeah.
And more so during the Revan time, I think, back thousands of years before, when they were a lot more powerful, even more powerful than the Jedi.
Yeah.
They were fighting amongst each other for power, and that's when Bane was like, this is ridiculous. We need to keep the order, just 2 people,
Just the 2 of us.
just the 2 of us, just the 2.
Yeah. That'd be a good video to make.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, with Revan and Malik or something like that. Yeah. So that's how the Rule 2 came about. That's how Darth Bane, and as far as we know, Darth Bane is canon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's mentioned. You said, didn't he mention in episode 1 or
That was
something?
the first time he was ever mentioned, was the novelization of episode 1. And Lucas created Bane in the Rule 2 just as backstory. And so it was mentioned in episode 1, in the book of episode 1.
That's right.
His first appearance was like some like magazine or something like that. But so I would not be surprised if we get a spin-off Star Wars movie in near future of Darth Bane, where maybe that'll probably contradict a lot of the books and a lot of what we're saying right now of his history. But, everybody get ready to maybe see this character in a movie or a TV show or something later on down the road.
I mean, I'm telling you, everything we just gave you about his life, I mean, that's a trilogy right there.
Yeah.
That is an awesome trilogy about a guy that is, basically, about a guy that wants to be evil, joins the Sith, but realizes it's not that powerful, and then goes off to learn about the history of it and bring it back and basically not just take over, but destroy it and start it over. I mean, that's...
See, what's really cool learning about all the Sith and stuff is there's a lot, like, the difference between Dark Jedi and Sith. There's a lot about the Sith that actually makes sense, which is like, the whole thing about the Sith is like passion and strength and power and all that stuff. And yeah, master and apprentice, and you have to kill your master. That's the twisted part. But other than that, their teachings and all that stuff is very similar to the Jedi.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes a villain so great, is if they're very similar to the hero. And but anyways, I think it'd be really cool to have like a trilogy of Darth Bane to show you actually want to root for him in a way.
All right.
Root for the Sith. It's really interesting. It'd also be really interesting to see a female Sith villain.
Totally.
We've never seen that.
We never have seen that.
So I don't know if we'll see that in the new trilogy, 7, 8, or 9, coming out soon in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true.
Or if we'll see it in a spinoff, whatever. But I would like to see that. A female Sith.
God, a Darth Bane movie
Well,
would be
yeah.
incredible.
I mean, we see Asajj Ventress in Clone Wars. But,
That's true.
I mean, but
Actually, she is the first female, I think, right? That we've seen.
in action.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to see in a movie. Some in a movie.
I mean, it's a great story. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think Darth Bane was an incredible character to create to create this role and to create the history of it, because I mean, he's known, because I mean in the Star Wars universe in a way to Sith, I mean, he's known as kind of the reason why. I mean, like Sidious and Vader, once they take over the galaxy, basically. I mean, that's what his goal was.
Yeah.
That's what Bane's goal was we were going to hide in secret, just the two of us, and train and just figure out a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ultimately Sidious Palpatine. It was his plan to kind of go do the politics part, which was the way that they end up overthrowing the government. Instead of fighting and killing the Jedi, they basically kill him from within, right?
Yeah.
So that was his part, but I mean, in essence, it was all Bane's.
Yeah.
That was his plan from 1,000 years, right? I mean, the great line from Maul was, at last we're going to reveal ourselves. I mean,
Yeah.
they just didn't know,
Yeah.
And the fact that that's a whole nother topic we got to get into at some point. But the fact that in Episode 1, the Dark Lord of the Sith is sitting right next to Jedi, and they cannot sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how clouded it was, and that's how powerful technically Sith are. I mean, it's, and I think that, like you pointed out in that season 3 of the Clone Wars, I mean, there is a balance going on, even though there's only 2 of them. That balance is still pretty even. Only 2 Sith and all these Jedis, and it's amazing to think how powerful the Sith are when there's hundreds and thousands of them. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I bring up why can't they sense him if he's sitting right next to him. Actually, just last week, a buddy of mine brought up that question. That one of the reasons why he didn't like the prequels is because for that reason. It's like, I just don't understand why he was right there in front of him and they couldn't sense that he was a Sith. And I was just like, there's reasons for that. But
There is.
I didn't go in further about
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
anything can be explained.
Especially in Star Wars.
Yes.
There's a whole encyclopedia stuff with stuff. So that's our profile for Darth Bane. And if you want to read more about it, obviously you can Wikipedia it. There's a whole, I mean, we just hit on basically his early life and his ultimate demise, but I mean, there's a lot that happened during his life that you can read about, which would contribute to great movie, or even a television show.
Television show
whatever.
would be fantastic.
I mean, that would be
It's
awesome.
like Dexter, basically, or something
Yes.
like that. Where the villain is the guy.
Yes, totally. So let's we're gonna get into some news.
Yeah. Movie
What's
news.
the latest rumor that happened between our 2 shows here?
The latest rumor. This came out just a few days ago, I believe. This came out earlier last week, actually, March 28th.
Yeah, it came out, I think, right after our show.
Yeah. So, anyways, okay, new spinoff rumor. Everybody, hang on to your butts because this movie will be set in between Star Wars Episode 3 and Episode 4, and is said to feature. Hopefully, it's supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul.
Yes.
That's basically the only plot we've gotten for this spin-off movie. I mean, there's a little more I'll say in a second, but Ewan McGregor will prize his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi. It'll be on his exile on Tatooine, so it's mainly going to be set on Tatooine. And the plot will be Darth Maul hunting down his nemesis, Obi-Wan Kenobi, with a possible plot point involving a 5-year-old Luke Skywalker somehow tied into the story, possibly as bait for Obi-Wan.
I just got chills.
Chills up my spine. Ah. But again, in this article makes the note, the source says that nothing is set in stone about the Star Wars spinoffs, that they're just in early stages of development. So they're throwing out ideas all over the place, probably. So this is just one of the ideas that probably got leaked.
Right.
So this could not happen. But I think it'd be flipping fantastic. And this brings up a lot of questions, because last week, if you listened to our show last week, we talked about the possibility of Darth Maul being linked to the disciple of Palpatine in Episode 7. If this is true, this spinoff would, I think, affect that, our speculation.
I would agree with that.
Because if Darth Maul is in this right here, in this spinoff, I don't think he'll be in the Episode 7 at all.
I agree.
This also would maybe tie into what we also talked about last show at the end of the Clone Wars about Palpatine. Darth Maul's back in the Clone Wars, and Palpatine captured Darth Maul, is electrocuting him, saying, I have plans for you.
Yes.
What are those plans? Could this be the plan to, I don't know, hunt down whatever Jedi or something like that? I don't know.
That's
whatever
right.
it is. But maybe, that is if we don't get that in the 2 remaining story arcs we're supposed to get from Clone Wars as bonus content. One of those story arcs might deal with Darth Maul. If it doesn't, then maybe this is what Palpatine was talking about. What this spinoff might deal with. So that is the biggest. That's the big thing that just happened. Big rumor. I just like all these rumors. I want someone to just be like, yes, no,
I know,
no, yeah,
I know.
that's happening. That's not happening.
And in my opinion, the only way this works is if you get Ewan McGregor.
He'll do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 5 years, after Episode 3, it's not going to be hard to make him look like he did in Episode 3 again, just a little bit older. And, Ray Park, obviously, he'll come back and do it. But the fact that the Clone Wars, I think, did a good job in bringing him back. And people that haven't seen the Clone Wars, you need to see it. You need to see, especially Season 3, at the end of Season 3 when he comes back, and then Season 4 is when he is back, and then 5, the beginning of 5 which isn't out yet on Blu-ray, but that dives into what happens. And so now that there's not going to be a Season 6, that is one of the lingering storylines, is what happens to Darth Maul, because we mentioned last week they are going to release a couple of arcs.
2 story arcs.
Right.
Yeah.
And one looks like it's going to be the Order of 66, because they released a clip already of that.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the other one is going to be.
Yeah, the Order 66 one could also be a Darth Maul thing, too.
It could be.
I don't know.
If anything, it might be more of a Captain Rex thing,
probably.
maybe.
Yeah. I'd say so.
They kind of wrapped up, I think, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if Ahsoka Tano is going to have any more involvement.
Saw's Ventures, too. We don't necessarily need something, but I would like to know what happens to her. But
yeah,
because everybody always thought, okay, Asajj Ventress has to die, Ahsoka has to die.
Now another one they were going to bring back too in Season 6, I think, was Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So that whole thing, but there's spinoff rumors for him too about showing up between.
Yeah.
Because I think they were going to show. I think I read this that they were going to in Season 6 they were going to show how he got his armor.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, they might save that for a movie, actually. So it's just amazing to think that not only are we getting 7, 8, 9, but we're getting all kinds of movies.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh man, that's incredible. Just 2 or 3 years from now, it's going to be like Star Wars. It's going to be every year. It's going to be a movie, I think.
Probably.
I really do think it's every year.
And hopefully we'll get that live action show at some point.
Yes, totally.
Which I know Disney's trying to get that. Through ABC, I think.
So your initial thoughts of this? You hope this is gonna happen?
I would love to see this. Yeah, just like a spinoff. I just want it's hard to Star Wars not to think of trilogies, but I think this could be just its own movie. I don't know what a trilogy would be like with this kind of storyline, but
I think it's a one-off, though.
I hope it is.
I think it's a one-off.
I hope these spin-offs are just one-offs.
I agree.
I don't want a spin-off trilogy.
And you know what? And it begs the question, did Lucas ever think about doing this? Like back in the 80s?
I don't know, man.
And why? And if not, did he miss the boat on this? Because
Yeah.
what better way to, like once you show Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back, what better way to, and he becomes such a huge fan favorite, why wouldn't you make a one-off movie with him? You know what I mean? I wonder if that ever crossed his mind, because to be realistic, and maybe it was part of, the whole layoff thing where, I'm not going to make my prequels until technology gets better. Or maybe that was the whole thing was, I can't do it. I can't do anything until technology gets better. I don't know, but
Yeah, I just want to ask him so many questions.
I know, but right now it's like, it seems like Disney. But see, that's the thing, is that we don't know for sure. Like you said, I wish someone would say yes or no.
Yeah.
We don't know if these are George's ideas.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He could have written this down as he was doing 1, 2, and 3. Like, this would be a great movie. This would be a great movie. This would be a great movie. And then he just never wanted to do them because he had his 6 movies to tell. So this could have been part of the deal where, when he was talking to Disney and he's saying, not only do I have outlines for 7, 8, 9, but I've got
Just
a Boba Fett movie.
log lines for some of these other movies.
I mean,
also,
it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole thing with the 5-year-old Luke Skywalker. If this is true, whoever they get to be a 5-year-old Luke Skywalker, this kid will forever be known as Luke Skywalker. Probably.
That's right.
He won't really recognize it. Probably being like, they might get like a 7-year-old or maybe something like that.
Right.
But this young kid, it will be a superstar.
I wonder if Sam could play a little Leia.
Sam. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Little Leia. 'Cause she's probably got to be in it. See, this opens the door. We talked about this. This opens the door for Jimmy Smits to come back.
Yeah.
Because he's still alive. He's on Alderaan. He's raising the other twin. So it's like,
I would like to see it.
that would be awesome, man.
I would love to see a young Leia.
Yeah.
She was like 19, so you had to get like significantly younger than 19.
And I think another thing, I know a lot of Star Wars fans complained about the whole political side of Star Wars, the prequels. Well, even the prequels,
yeah.
Like the whole Senate thing and all that.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by it. Because honestly, something like this on a spinoff like this, I would be interested in to see, like, because he's emperor, like they still have Senate sessions. Up until episode 4 when he dismisses the Senate, there's still some reason there's still sessions going on, even though he's the emperor. Because Leia's a senator. So it'd be interesting. So, and honestly, this is definitely a reason to bring in McDermott back too. He had mentioned he would come back.
He would.
So I wouldn't venture to dismiss that he's already been contacted, possibly. Like, hey.
Yeah. I guarantee, though, if they do this Obi-Wan Maul spinoff, we'll have a scene of Darth Maul talking to the Emperor.
I agree. Totally. Yeah, you have to.
If they ever did a Darth Vader cameo in any of these spinoffs, would Hayden Christensen be in the suit, you think?
I would have to say no.
Yeah,
but
I don't think he would be like.
I think he would want to do it.
I'd come. You think he would go out just to be like, even though if he's just in the suit, you think he would?
I don't. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
yeah.
You won't see his face. You won't hear his voice.
Yeah, you probably not. Although he was in the suit in episode 3. I don't know if everybody knows that, but he was in the suit in episode 3. I mean, I would do it.
Yeah,
if I was Hayden Christensen, I mean, screw that. I would. Yes, I am Darth Vader. But yeah, that does, this still brings up the question, though, even like with the new trilogy, any of these spinoffs they do, I mean, if they ever, how would you feel still if they recasted somebody still, though?
Like,
for example, like if someone else was an emperor, someone else played the emperor.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wouldn't like it.
Because it's possible that Ian McDermott just doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they can make him look pretty close and sound pretty close. I know I would hate it, but
because he went to the trouble of replacing him in episode 5.
Yeah. It was like some like lady. Wasn't it a girl?
It was a woman, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as long as I would hate to have it recasted, but if you're going to recast, make it as close as possible.
Right.
You know,
Because technically, I mean, you could replace Maul because he's all makeup and everything, but you wouldn't get the fighting style of Ray Park.
I would recognize the face.
Yeah, I totally would too.
Yeah,
But
under the makeup, I'd still recognize it.
yeah, I mean, it's Ray Park, man.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes,
Toad.
Yes. So that's the latest rumor. That's the only rumor we really got
Pretty much, yeah.
within the past week. I mean, last week we talked about the other spinoffs and stuff like that. So
we're getting lucky so far with these rumors and
hopefully they
news.
come out every week.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll pick up. I mean,
Yeah,
especially when Abrams really gets in full gear.
Yeah.
So another little news bit we want to mention on StarWars.com, they are doing, if you haven't seen it, it's called This Is Madness, the Star Wars Character Tournament.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. They got the light side bracket and they got a dark side bracket, and it's basically 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14,
like
16 on each side. So it's 32 characters, 16 lights, 16 darks.
Every day there's like one light side battle, one dark side battle.
That's right. And it's weird because the light side are going against each other.
Yeah.
And the dark side are going. It's not like
Yeah.
So, real quick, the update right now, what's going on. If you go to StarWars.com, you can check it out. But right now, they're in the second round.
But this is several days before the one you're listening to.
Oh, yeah, you're correct.
So,
yeah.
by the time you listen to this.
Oh, yeah, we'll be.
Yeah.
Dang it, what day does this come out? What day is this
coming out?
Tuesday.
You're listening to it Tuesday
That's
right
the
now.
second, right?
Yeah.
So by the time the second happens, actually, that's only.
So it's like 3 more battles after today.
Actually, the current battle comes out on the second, so we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, Obi-Wan, in the second round, Obi-Wan Kenobi defeated Han Solo. Yoda defeated Luke.
Yoda defeated Luke?
Yoda defeated Luke. 67% to 33%.
I would have voted for Luke.
And you could vote for this. This is you can get on here and just vote. You don't have to sign up for anything. You would have voted for, I voted for Yoda. You would have?
I would have. I'm not voting because.
Oh, you're not voting.
I voted for one of them. One of the battles. We can talk about that in a second.
Okay. So Vader defeated Maul in a landslide, actually, 79 to 21. Jabba beat Cad Bane. So right now, So right now, what's happening right now, and this will resolve the day our show comes out on the 2nd. But R2-D2 is going against Princess Leia right now on the light side, and then father and son Boba Fett is going against Jango Fett. So that is going to happen, and then the day after, on the 3rd, they will vote for Chewbacca versus Ahsoka Tano, and then Count Dooku versus Emperor Palpatine, and then that will make the final 8. And then this goes on seems like every other day or so. The 3rd, and then the 4th, and the 5th, and the 6th, and then the 9th is the championship. Whoever the winner of the light side versus the winner of the dark side.
Yeah, see, I'm not voting in it because, honestly, I don't see a point. Because I think some people are voting it for their fan favorites, and some people are voting who would win in an actual fight. I would vote for who would actually win in a fight. Like, if this was this guy versus this guy, who would win? And so, but I mean, I might contradict with someone else, so it's like it doesn't matter. I know who I think would win. I remember looking through it all, and I think I had like Luke winning it all.
Yeah.
Because it just depends. Like, like for instance, they have Darth Vader. Darth Vader would lose to Luke. He did in episode 6. But if it was Anakin versus Luke, I would say Anakin would win everything. I think Anakin would beat Yoda. Would beat any of those people.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because they say when you go vote, it says, it's the princess versus the astromech, and it says who's your favorite?
Who's your favorite? Yeah. So if it's my favorite, then
is it your favorite character, or is it your favorite to win?
You know what I mean?
So
yeah,
I think so. And then it says fight of the Fets. Who's your favorite? So I think they're asking just who's your favorite?
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So that's
in that case, I would have picked Han Solo probably or Boba Fett.
Right, and I think in that sense, and that's because if a lot of people were looking at it as a fight, there's no way Obi-Wan would only beat Han Solo 55%.
Yeah.
By 55 to 45.
Like Jabba and Cad Bane. Cad Bane would just shoot him.
Correct. Yeah.
But Jabba's cooler.
Jabba is cooler. I voted for Jabba.
Yeah.
So I voted for Boba Fett, and I voted for...
Yeah.
I actually voted for R2-D2.
Really?
Yeah.
As your favorite?
That's my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite over
Yeah,
Princess
yeah,
Leia.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'll vote for Chewbacca over Ahsoka, and I'm going to vote for and I'm going to vote for Palpatine over Dooku.
Yeah.
I'm going to get, just to shoot ahead, my favorites are, I'm going to have Yoda and probably Vader. I mean, those are my two favorites probably.
Probably make Yoda would win.
And Yoda is my favorite overall. Yeah, he's my boy.
See, like, and thinking like fighting wise, anyway.
He's my special one.
You're my boy, Yoda.
You're my boy, Yoda.
But it just makes you think like that these people actually fought. If it ever went to Luke and Emperor, like people don't know. But the thing is, in Dark Empire, Luke fought a clone of the Emperor,
a
younger clone. So I think and he beat him. So that's like the Emperor at his prime to me.
Yeah,
and Luke beat him. So it's like,
well, you gotta think Luke is more powerful. I think
he's the second most powerful, second to Anakin.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I don't know, even more powerful than Yoda.
Well, Anakin's more powerful than Yoda.
Yeah,
midichlorian wise,
but Vader wasn't.
Vader was not.
Yeah, he lost a lot of midichlorians.
I think Luke could be more powerful than Yoda if he was, trained
right
better. But
okay, so we're gonna.
Anyway,
after that, yeah. So that's a little bit, you can check that out, StarWars.com.
Yeah.
Do a little fan voting, just something cool to do. So we're gonna do some trivia. If you
trivia.
If you listen to our last show, what we're doing at the end of every episode, we are gonna do a trivia from this book called "Obsessed with Star Wars." 2,500 questions in here. Last week was an easy one. Mm-hmm. We both got it right, so we're going to tally this up and see who, in the rule of two, is the master and the apprentice. So, so I'm going to go ahead and, it's already picked up from the random. We haven't answered this, so I'm going to go ahead and just do this one.
Okay,
right?
Cool.
So, here is the trivia question.
Question number.
It is question number 981. In this book that has 2,500 questions in it. Mm-hmm. And it is during, I think the last week was during the Attack of the Clones. This is during the Revenge of the Sith era.
All these prequels. I'm nervous.
981. Nervous. Whoa, this one's tough, I think.
Okay.
Whoa, okay.
First
This is going to be a good one. Now, we reveal the answers here, so if you want to pause it and try to figure it out before we answer, we'll give you a second or two. But anyway, here's the question. These are all multiple choice. Mm-hmm. What language do Wookiees speak?
Okay.
Do you know this?
I probably think I know if I recognized it.
A, Wookiee.
Okay.
B,
I have to probably read it.
Shrywook.
Yeah, I think I have to look at it.
Wookiees.
Mm-hmm.
D, Kashwook.
Okay, let me see this, please.
So here, those are your answers. A, Wookiee. B, Shrywook. Mm-hmm. C, Wookiees. D, Kashwook.
You didn't say it in the Wookiee language.
No.
That's what it really says. 981.
981, right there on the right.
Yeah. Okay,
So what we're going to do is you can pause it or you can just hear us out and pick one. But right now we're going to reveal our answer. We're going to find out who's right or wrong.
Okay. I mean, I know I remember reading this in some of the books.
Oh, really?
But, do you have yours yet?
I think so. I think I know which one I want to go
I think I know what you're going to pick.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I'm basically thinking.
All right, I've got mine.
What it is, but. Okay,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure about this. I don't know, but yeah, I'm going with B.
So, okay, Casey is going with B. Shrywook, Shrywook, or something like that. SHYRILWOOK. I'm actually going to go with A. Wookiee.
Okay.
I'm just going to go with A. Wookiee.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that. So one of us is going to.
One of us.
But we both could be wrong.
Yeah.
So since you answered first, I'm going to put in B.
Okay.
into the answer, and here is the sound.
Yes!
Casey got it right. Dang it!
I knew it was a Wookiee.
So Wookiee.
I knew it was a weird word. It was like,
I didn't know. I had no idea about that. No idea.
I thought it might have been that or Cashwook. But
so the tally then, I'll keep tally here. Casey's up
by 1.
1-0 to 1 because we're keeping the ties. And I am 0-1 and 1. 0-1 and 1.
So
that hurts.
We'll come back. It hurts right there. Little spot.
So that's interesting tidbit there. A little trivia too as well.
Yeah.
You're getting all that kind of knowledge from us.
There's some crazy questions in this book.
Oh man. Yeah, it's not all movie based. It's it's facts.
What ship did something use in this scene of the movie or whatever?
Yes.
I don't know.
I know. It's a lot of questions in there that don't translate to the movies, but all right, so that's our show for the week. Thanks for checking us out. We are Inside the Force, InsideTheForce.com. You can go to our Facebook. No, we don't have a Facebook page. Go to our Twitter page. Follow us on Twitter.
Got a Facebook page. We don't have one.
No. But we do have a Facebook page for our 21 Network. If you want to follow all the podcast news and updates, 21network.com. We are on Facebook there. And at 21 Network on Twitter. The latest, all the latest podcast links are coming out on there. All the latest news from our podcasts. We are soon going to be uploading some companion video from our podcast, something from us too, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/21network. That is spelled out, 21 Network. Casey Cooley on Twitter. What's your handle?
Kryptonian1138.
Still one of the best ones. I am at dcottingham21. You can follow us there. We kind of retweet everything from Inside the Force, but follow Inside the Force. Everything kind of Star Wars news related, we tweet it out. Again, I want to tweet the figures that we are giving away to whoever comments on the show first on iTunes. We are going to send that out to you, Darth Sidious and Darth Maul action figures. What else am I missing? Is that it?
That's about it.
All right. For Casey Cooley.
Yeah. So I was going to have like a last thing, whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
Goodbye, everybody. And I kind of want to like end the show with like a different Star Wars quote.
Oh yeah, you should.
So I wanted to say, let the Wookiee win. Because in relation to the question that we had.
Let's
say like C-3PO. Let the Wookiee win.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's what you should do.
Yeah. Okay.
End with a quote, and then of course we'll say the Star Wars line. So tune in next week when we don't know what we're going to talk about yet.
No.
But we'll tweet it.
Yep.
We'll tweet. We'll kind of preview what we're going to do. We'll hit up another profile, give you the latest news and rumors of Episode 7 and any kind of spin-off movies that are going to happen. We appreciate you listening. So Casey Cooley did his last line. I'm David Cottingham. Thanks for listening. This is Inside the Force, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network, a collection of weekly podcasts. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.